Have you ever lost a sports bet or just felt the urge to run onto the field, yell at your team for a moment and then show them how it's done because they just can't seem to get it together down there? Maybe that's even why a cup once slipped out of your hand in frustration, but that's normal. Unlike these 20 football fans who definitely crossed the line. From half-naked women storming the field, unbelievable hairstyles, fans attacking players, extreme acts of vandalism, to even taking the life of a player. Get ready! Let's kick things off with a piece of art and a fan who was determined to be first. In 2022, AS Roma and Feyenoord Rotterdam faced each other in the UEFA Europa Conference League final in Tirana. For the Dutch, this was a particularly special final, since they hadn't won an international title since 1970. They were incredibly proud of their team and could barely contain their excitement. One fan was so confident in their victory that he got a tattoo celebrating the cup win before the match even began. Unfortunately for him, Nicola Zaniolo put an end to those dreams. With that tattoo, he might be first in our video, but unfortunately he only lands at number 20 on the list. Morocco captured the hearts of many neutral football fans during the 2022 World Cup. The North Africans delivered outstanding performances throughout the tournament and managed to qualify for the round of 16 as underdogs, securing their spot with a crucial victory against Belgium on the final group stage match day. It's no surprise that their fans wanted to celebrate this success extensively. However, the celebration was anything but peaceful. The damages amounted to €50,000. Fireworks were set off everywhere, cars were torched, scooters went up in flames. The chaos continued deep into the night as Moroccan fans rioted. The streets of Amsterdam resembled a battlefield and the police barely intervened. As a result, many citizens were too scared to leave their homes. Understandably so, given the turmoil. Morocco then went on to eliminate giants like Spain and Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, only failing to France in the semi-finals. Luckily, some might say, or the Netherlands might have ended up with a different capital city. Now for some serious commotion caused by a pitch invader during a Champions League final. Kinsey Wolanski followed in the footsteps of her boyfriend, Vitaly, who had previously gained attention as a streaker and amassed many followers on social media. Vitaly convinced his girlfriend, Kinsey Wolanski, a model by profession, to storm the field during the 2019 Champions League final. At the time, Kinsey had around 300,000 followers on Instagram, but that wasn't enough for her, so she decided to imitate her boyfriend and managed to dodge security to run onto the pitch. After such a wild stunt, you'd logically assume she'd be in serious trouble. Instead, police officers wanted to take photos with her, and she ended up on the front pages of every major newspaper worldwide. As if that weren't enough, she gained nearly 3 million Instagram followers overnight, jumping from 300,000 to 3.2 million. She did, however, have two strong arguments working in her favor. We don't have those two arguments, but hopefully you'll subscribe to my channel anyway. Since this is one of my first videos, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe if you like my content. Don't forget to ring the bell. Enough begging, let's continue with the video. These people in Argentina are also ringing bells, but for a different reason. Have you ever heard of the Iglesia Maradoniana, the Hand of God? In English, the Church of Maradona, the Hand of God. This is a religious movement founded in the 1990s that worships the legendary footballer Diego Armando Maradona. According to its members, it has 40,000 followers worldwide. In Argentina, football is like a religion, and every religion has a god. For football, that god is undoubtedly Maradona. It's hard not to be amazed. Maradona would have been pleased about that. This is another self-proclaimed god, but he wasn't a fan of imitators. This Ibrahimovic lookalike took the chance in Manchester to storm the pitch and hug Zlatan. However, the Swede wasn't thrilled by his double's appearance and promptly pushed him away. Lionel Messi, though, doesn't have enough hands for all his fans. After the long-awaited World Cup victory in Qatar, Messi was idolized in Argentina. During the victory celebration in Buenos Aires, 4 million fans gathered, forcing the players to be airlifted to safety by helicopter. A few days later, Messi planned to have dinner with his wife, Antonella, at a restaurant in Buenos Aires. Some fans got wind of this and began gathering outside the restaurant. You might think it was reported in the news because within minutes, thousands of fans had crowded around and inside the restaurant. Everyone wanted to catch a glimpse of the superstar. The world champion and his wife had to be escorted out of the restaurant by security forces. On his way to his car, Messi had his face grabbed multiple times. The Argentinian was visibly stressed and got into the car, annoyed. I think he had imagined this outing a little differently. The same could probably be said about this man. During an FC Barcelona game, this couple was caught sharing a kiss on live cameras. When the man noticed the cameras were on them, his smile quickly turned into a worried grimace. It looks like someone felt caught, and indeed, it turned out he was cheating on his wife. And what's going on with this guy, named Lewis, another candidate who didn't quite think through the consequences of his actions? He became the most disliked person in Everton's history. What seemed like a typical Premier League match between Everton and Newcastle was interrupted by one of the strangest incidents ever seen. Lewis believed that the UK government should stop dealing with oil companies, so at the start of the second half, during a key moment of the game, he tied himself to the goalpost. He used a metal zip tie to make it harder to remove him. The fans were furious, shouting insults at him. Lewis definitely crossed the line. He was sentenced to 6 weeks in prison, fined £550 and banned from stadiums for 3 years. Was it worth it? For Messi lookalike Reza Paratesh, it definitely was. The Iranian has benefited greatly from his resemblance to the football star. According to various media reports, he slept with 23 women who believed he was Lionel Messi. While Reza has denied these claims, he still profits from his appearance. After all, he's amassed over 1 million Instagram followers, earns money through brand deals, spends time with Salt Bae, and has even dubbed himself the Asian Messi. And since Messi has already had his spotlight twice, it's only fair that Ronaldo gets his moment in this video as well. Before a match in the Asian Champions League against Iran's Persepolis, Iranian fans were in a frenzy. They swarmed the hotel and team bus of the Arab club in hopes of catching a glimpse of the superstar. The chaos even forced the team to cancel training due to safety concerns. Fans camped outside the hotel at night, creating a lot of noise. Ronaldo eventually appeared at his hotel window to thank the fans for their support, but also pleaded for quiet so he could finally get some sleep. Not everyone has the same devotion as the Iranian fans, but why are these fans here celebrating? They can't hold back their joy and storm the field. Is it because you just subscribed to Beyond 90 Minutes? Not quite, but maybe they're celebrating because the first championship in 38 years was within their grasp. With only seconds left before the referee would blow the final whistle, the fans thought the match was over when the referee called a foul. Believing the game had ended, they rushed onto the field. The players tried to signal to their fans that the game wasn't over yet. Meanwhile, the opposing players retreated to the locker room for safety. After several minutes, the field was cleared, and thanks to a gracious gesture from the visiting players, the game was able to resume. Trabzonspor ultimately won the championship that day, but the fans' impatience could have cost them the title. A little more patient might also have been a good idea for this fan. Ahead of the 2018 World Cup, Teddy Allen had Harry Kane's face tattooed on his leg with the words "World Cup Winners 2018. He admitted it might have been a little premature, but he believed in the English team. As we know, England was knocked out in the semi-finals with a 2-1 loss to Croatia. Still, this fan doesn't seem to regret his tattoo. This Flamengo fan, however, took things to a whole new level, earning himself a spot in the Fan Hall of Fame. After an incredible 33 sessions and 90 hours of work, he had his team's jersey tattooed across his entire upper body. Who knows how much that cost? For just €70, he could have bought the actual jersey. That's one decision we may never understand. Just like the behavior of Ajax fans, this incident made headlines across every sports show worldwide. After 18 minutes, Feyenoord Rotterdam was leading Ajax Amsterdam when the referee had to stop the match for the first time. Fireworks and beer cups were thrown onto the field. By the time it was 3-0, the home fans were growing angrier, and the situation escalated. Officials warned that the game would be abandoned if another incident occurred. The warning didn't calm the crowd. They continued their behavior, forcing the match to be abandoned at 3-0 for Feyenoord. Ajax fans then rioted across the stadium grounds, attempting to break into the main entrance. Live footage showed police arriving and deploying tear gas. 15 people were arrested, though most didn't face jail time due to the Dutch laws in such cases. The match was resumed a few weeks later behind closed doors and ended 4-0, with the Rotterdammers seemingly even more motivated by the chaos. One fan also managed to motivate Jack Grealish. During a heated derby between Aston Villa and Birmingham, the match was overshadowed by an incident. Grealish had been playing well and narrowly missed an early scoring opportunity, causing murmurs in the crowd. One fan let his anger boil over, storming the field and sucker-punching Grealish from behind. The Englishman, caught off guard, was painfully hit and knocked to the ground. Grealish got his revenge in the final stages of the match, scoring the winning goal and celebrating exuberantly. This fan would also have loved to celebrate at the 2022 World Cup. A supporter bet more than just a few dollars on Argentina's victory in their opening match against Saudi Arabia. "It's going to be a training match for us," read the predictions before the game. Argentina was ranked second in the FIFA World Rankings, while Saudi Arabia was only 49th. Confident of an easy win, the fan wagered a staggering $160,000 on Argentina, expecting an easy payday. We all remember how that game ended. Let's see if he's even allowed back in his house. Anyone who's visited this barber might also find themselves locked out by their partner afterward. Serbian barber Mario Havala shaves portraits of celebrities into his client's hair. Before the 2018 World Cup, one customer had Lionel Messi's face shaved on the back of his head. Mario's work is truly impressive. He's already immortalized CR7, Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, Maradona, Mo Salah, Zuckerberg, Putin, LeBron James, and other iconic figures in haircuts. His clientele is broad, with wildly differing opinions about his creations. Opinions about David Beckham, however, weren't divided after the 1998 World Cup. Imagine playing the biggest game of your career, only to almost be murdered afterward. During the 1998 World Cup, Beckham was at the peak of his career and on the brink of superstardom. England hadn't won a World Cup in over 30 years, and it was time to change that. Beckham was on the cusp of becoming a legend, but he didn't realise what lay ahead. He soon found out. This wasn't the game where he'd score a decisive goal and bring home victory. In the first half, both teams scored twice, and the tension was palpable. Then things took an unexpected turn. Beckham lost his composure and received a red card for violent conduct. He became the primary scapegoat for England's elimination, instantly transforming into the most hated man in England. Some people even wanted him dead. Not only Beckham, but also his entire family became targets of death threats. He was effectively a prisoner in his own home. Who could have imagined that a single red card would lead to such far-reaching consequences? This was the question the football world asked during the 1994 World Cup. André Escobar had the honor of representing his country, Colombia, in the world's biggest sporting event, a dream he had nurtured since childhood. But it would turn into a nightmare. Colombia was in top form, with only one loss in their last 25 matches. However, they underestimated Romania in their opening game and suffered a 1-3 defeat. This left them needing a win against the USA in their final group stage match to advance. Then came a devastating mistake. In the 34th minute of the match, Escobar accidentally scored an own goal, sealing Colombia's premature exit from the tournament. Afterward, he began receiving death threats, warning him to stay home or face dire consequences. Despite the threats, Escobar chose to publish a personal statement in a newspaper. In it, he wrote that life didn't end there, and everyone should look forward and move on. On the night of July 2nd, 1994, Escobar went out to celebrate with friends in Medellin. At 3:01 a.m., as he left a nightclub, he was shot and killed in the parking lot. A man beloved by so many was senselessly murdered. The shooter confessed early the next morning and was sentenced to 43 years in prison. This tragedy went far beyond acceptable limits. Football should be about joy, shared hopes, and even shared heartbreak among friends. That's part of life. The next video will hopefully restore some of the lost hope in football fans. Check out the most emotional and heartwarming moments both on and off the pitch.